So this is what's inside the envelope that Bradley found on the desk. It's written just like Bradley writes. Mrs. Ebble's class, room 12, good friend, honest, thoughtful, caring, polite, who I'll never forget, and who I hope will someday forgive me. Last seat, last row. There you are, said Mrs. Kemp as she came in after him. If you don't get out of here right now, I'm going to call the police. Look, he exclaimed, holding up an envelope. She left it for me. See, we were friends, Carla and me. We were best friends. You've 10 seconds to leave this building, said Mrs. Kemp. 1, 2. He took the envelope and left. He opened it on the playground, next to the monkey bars. Inside was the book, My Parents Didn't Steal an Elephant, by Uriah C. Lasso, and a letter. Dear Bradley, this book was a present from me to you. It was a gift from the heart, and that kind of gift, for better or worse, can never be returned. I'm sorry for hurting you. I didn't mean to. If it makes you feel any better, you hurt me too. When you didn't come and see me Friday or Saturday, I kept hoping I'd see your happy face walk through the door. I hope you didn't mind that I gave your book report to Mrs. Ebble. It was just too good to throw away. You can do such wonderful work. Now, if you can only learn how to not rip it up. I hope you went to Colleen's birthday party. If you did, I'm sure you enjoyed it. If you didn't go, that's all right too. There'll be lots of other parties. You're a very likeable person. You'll always be very special to me. It was always a pleasure to see you. I appreciate your coming to see me. Thank you for sharing so much with me. Carla. Bradley's father was leaning on his cane on the front stoop. When Bradley came walking home, I want to talk to you, Bradley, he said sternly. Bradley ran over to him and hugged him, nearly knocking him over. 42. Bradley tried writing a letter to Carla. His father had suggested it. He crumpled up a piece of paper and threw it in the wastepaper basket. He didn't know what to say to her. The words he wanted hadn't been invented yet. Ronnie hopped along, singing do-do-do-do-do-do-do. The other animals were taking another vote. We took another vote, the lion told Ronnie. We like you the best. I like all of you the best too, said Ronnie. Bartholomew walked up to her. I love you, Ronnie, he said. Will you marry me? Yes, said Ronnie. And I saved you from the quicksand too, said Bartholomew, so you didn't die. That's good, said Ronnie. I'm very glad to hear that. Chapter 43. Colleen, wearing a new red dress, anxiously waited for her guests to arrive, except for Laurie and Melinda, who she hadn't told anyone there'd be boys at her party. The doorbell rang. Her heart jumped. She hoped it'd be Jeff, and she also hoped it wouldn't be. She composed herself and opened the door. It was Judy and Betty. They each gave her a present. Ooh, what is it? Colleen asked as she took each gift, but of course they didn't tell her. Who else is coming? Asked Judy as the three girls sat and waited in the living room. Colleen counted on her fingers, naming the guest. Well, there's you two, Laurie, Melinda, Karen, Amy, Dina. She paused, then said the last two names very quickly. And Jeff and Bradley. Bradley? Questioned Betty. Bradley Chalkers? Oh, no. Judy looked like she was about to faint. You didn't say there were going to be boys at your party, said Betta. Didn't I? Colleen asked innocently. I thought I did. I don't think I'm allowed to go to a boy and girl party, said Judy. Okay, but you already gave me a present, said Colleen. They decided to stay. When the bell rang again, all three girls screamed, but it was only Amy and Dina. Amy and Dina were dressed exactly alike, right down to their shoes and socks. They were best friends, and their parents often took them shopping together. They always bought the same clothes. Then, before a party, or even just before school sometimes, they'd call each other up and decide what to wear. Today it was a blue dress with white and yellow flowery things. Colleen invited boys, Betty told them. Bradley Chalkers, said Judy. Amy and Dina looked at each other in horror. Colleen took their presents from them before they could change their minds. Both presents were wrapped in the same purple and green paper. Karen was next to arrive. Colleen invited boys, everyone said to her as she stood in the doorway. Her mouth dropped open. Bradley Chalkers, said Betty. And the new kid, said Amy. Jeff Fishfood. Karen was shy and quiet. If there were going to be boys at the party, she might not say one word at all today. The doorbell rang. Everyone except Karen screamed. She held a pillow in front of her face. It was Laurie and Melinda. Colleen invited boys, everyone greeted them. Jeff Fishnose and Bradley Chalkers, said Dina. So, we already knew that, Laurie said, as if it were no big deal to her. Oh, well, no one else did, said Judy. The 8 girls waited. They talked and laughed about how much Colleen would like her presents. They asked her what there would be to eat and what games they would play. The one thing they didn't talk about was boys, though it was the only thing on each of their minds. When Colleen told Dina there'd be a three-legged race, the room turned very quiet. Each girl wondered if she'd have to run it with a boy. Colleen planned to run a three-legged race with Jeff. It didn't occur to her that if she was partners with Jeff, another girl would have to be partners with Bradley. It was starting to get late. A new worry slowly crept into each girl's head. What if the boys didn't show up? It suddenly seemed the party wouldn't be fun at all without boys. Where were they? Colleen's mother walked into the living room and counted heads. 8, she said aloud. Who's missing? Nobody answered. Oh, the boys, said Colleen's mother. Well, we can't wait too much longer. Colleen looked like she was about to cry. Where were they? Chapter 44. The doorbell rang at Bradley's house. Bradley, wearing a cone-shaped party hat, ran to the front door and flung it open. He had a wild look in his eyes. Hi, said Jeff, holding Colleen's present under his arm. Are you ready? He was wearing old, comfortable clothes. His blue jeans had a small hole above the knee. It's wrapped, Bradley exclaimed, with a bow. What? Uttered Jeff. Bradley ran back into his parents' bedroom. It's got to be wrapped, he told his mother, with a bow. She cut off a piece of tape and smiled at her son. I'm wrapping it now. Okay, good. He returned to the front door. My mother's wrapping it now, he told Jeff. He'd been running around the house that way all morning as he desperately tried to get ready for the birthday party. He'd already changed his clothes 6 times. He didn't know what he was supposed to wear. He didn't know what he was supposed to do. He didn't know what he didn't know. Claudia had given him the party hat to wear. She told him he wasn't allowed to take it off. They wrapped my present at the store where I got it, Jeff said. Bradley hardly heard him. Are you supposed to wear torn pants? He asked. What? He ran into the kitchen. He took a sharp knife from the drawer next to the sink and cut a hole in his pants just above the knee. When he returned to the front door, Jeff was standing inside the house. Claudia was with him. Is the hat on straight? Bradley asked his sister. She looked over at him. It's hard to tell, she explained, because your head's crooked. Mrs. Chalkers came down the hall, holding Colleen's present in front of her. See? All wrapped, she said. Hello, you must be Jeff. I'm Bradley's mother. Hello, Mrs. Chalkers, said Jeff. It doesn't have a bow, Bradley shouted. Oh, I couldn't find any ribbon, said his mother. He stared at her in disbelief. It needs a bow, he wailed. He turned to Jeff. Doesn't it need a bow? No. Oh, okay, he said happily. He took the present from his mother. She kissed him and told him to have fun. He and Jeff started out the door. Oh, Bradley, said his mother, you ripped your pants. I know. He closed the door. They headed up the sidewalk towards Colleen's. She lived 2 blocks away. Do you want my bow? Jeff asked. I can take it off. Bradley nervously shook his head. Are you all right? Jeff asked. Said Bradley. He tried to say, I'm okay, but his mouth didn't work. You're acting kind of strange, said Jeff. Even for you, I mean. Bradley sighed and stopped walking. What's the matter? Jeff asked. Bradley trembled. He felt the same way as when he first tried to turn in his homework. I don't know what to do at a birthday party, he said, shivering. Jeff laughed. Bradley sat down on the curb. I haven't been to one in 3 years. Jeff looked impatiently up the street, then sat down next to his best friend. It's nothing to worry about, he said assuringly. Birthday parties are fun. How many birthday parties have you been to? Bradley asked. Jeff shrugged. A lot. What do you want to know? Everything. Okay, said Jeff. First, take off that dumb hat. So, while the 8 girls anxiously waited, Jeff was patiently trying to teach Bradley everything he knew about birthday parties. That's the end of that chapter. So how do you think the birthday party is going to go? What are your predictions?